Hey, this is Danny, and today I'm going to go through how I formulated the lyrics for the song that I just finished. Really, this video is to encourage you to just try lyric writing. Everyone's got a different story to tell. Everyone has a song on their heart, and I mean, without sounding that cheesy, but really, I think that inside we all have things that are able to come out and to be creative. And maybe for some people it's a little bit different, but if you like writing, if you like writing poems or expressing yourself through writing in journals, then this could be something that you could learn and get better at. Really, it just takes practice. And how I started was by writing my feelings down. And when I was 11, I wrote lyrics to a song because my big sister moved away, and it made me really sad. So I went and I wrote a song, and it ended up rhyming, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then I had a friend who I was really close with, my best friend in high school. Her sister passed away, and it was really hard for me to understand. So I went back to lyric writing, and it really was a relief for me, and it helped me get through some hard times. And then, some of my feelings started rhyming, and they were like poems. And then I took a course at a local community college on songwriting, and the teacher was wonderful, and it really got me to start to go to that next level with taking my feelings that ended up rhyming into more of a song format, which is, a verse, 1, 2, sometimes a pre-chorus, a chorus, and a bridge. And I just want to encourage you and just show you how what I think about or what I do when I write lyrics. So I'm not an expert, but I guess if you think about it, I've been writing my feelings out for about 20 years now. So let's just see what I came up with in my most recent song lyrics. So this one took me longer this time. Last song that I recorded took me 25 to 30 minutes. Wrote it down on paper, came out just like that. This time it wasn't as easy. I got my chorus pretty quickly, but it didn't come like, I know what I'm gonna write and this is gonna be that, blah, blah. I sat down and I started just brainstorming some ideas and feelings. And again, my song is going to be a Christian song, so the focus is going to be about God. And so I started thinking about, how I felt before I knew the Lord, or who I was before I knew Him, and some different phrases came out, and it's always good to just kind of brainstorm and get some ideas down. And one of the things that came out was I was lost and confused. And then that word confused, I always am trying to think what rhymes with the words that come out or the phrases that come out. And confused rhymed with unmoved. So I ended up really loving that word. And sometimes you can just pick a word that you really like and write around that word. So I love that word, unmoved. So I decided that that was going to be the title of my song. And then I've got multiple pages here of just ideas. I wrote a couple verses out yesterday that I really didn't love, so I scrapped them and put my book away yesterday and started again today. Sat down and really focused on my verses. Like I said, I loved my chorus. That was totally fine with me. But I didn't love my verses. So what I will do when things aren't flowing really well is I'll go from my notebook to my computer, because I'll just pull up a Word document and type in there. And really, it helps keep me like more focused, because what I'll do is I'll write down a chorus, and then I'll write down a verse, and then if I don't like the verse, then I'll cross something out and take a phrase that I like and then rewrite it, and then it just looks really messy and I can't focus. So I'll go to another page and I'll rewrite everything. But if it's not flowing, I don't have time to cross it out and rewrite it over and over, so I'll go to my computer. So that's what I did this time. This morning I woke up and I had some different words that I was thinking about and playing with for my verse 1. And because the theme of my song is that God's love is unmoving, I automatically thought of the word faithful. And so I went to rhymezone.com to get my brain stirring and thinking about what rhymed with faithful. So there really wasn't a word that I was drawn to, but because I was going over the different words that rhymed with faithful, then I was able to come up with, on my own, unable. Unable and faithful rhyme to me, even though it wasn't on Rhyme Zone. It did help that I went to Rhyme Zone to look over all of the different words that rhyme with faithful, because it got my brain thinking, and then I was able to think of one on my own. So I had, your heart remains faithful. And then I thought, okay, I want the first line to rhyme with faithful, or something to rhyme. So I put, when I'm unable and falling short, your heart remains faithful. And then I had a phrase that I liked from all of the things that I scrapped yesterday. Just always go back and re-look at the things that you scrapped, because you might be able to fit it in later or to another song, or it could be its own song idea. So always reference back to the things that you've thrown out before, and don't scribble them out entirely. Make sure you can still read them, because they might be helpful for other projects that you might want to do in the future. So I really like the phrase, isn't it just like you to give me your all? I really like that. So today I'm going to make a pre-chorus. Now when you do a pre-chorus, that pre-chorus has to make sense after verse 1, after verse 2, and after the bridge going into the chorus each time. So it's got to make sense between all of those pieces for it to be your pre-chorus. And so I had established that. Then I needed a verse 2, the dreaded verse 2, which I have said before that I have a hard time with. And when it comes out, then I'm super happy, but I have to work harder for it. It doesn't come as easily as the other pieces of the song do. So I go to verse 2, and I counted out my syllables in verse 1. When I'm unable, so I've got 5 there. So I've got 5 and then 4 and falling short. And then I've got your heart remains faithful, 6. So I've got 5, 4, and 6. I need the syllables in verse 2 to match a little bit right around there, because as I've said before, the verses are the ones that need to match melodically, and if there's too many syllables in one line and then in the next verse on the same line there's very little, then they won't match and it'll be hard to match them melodically. So I always stick to the same amount of syllables ish. That's what I do. That's what I do as a lyricist, when I think lyrically and not melodically first. So maybe you think melodically and you can have tons of syllables maybe for you in one line and less in another. I'm not sure, but as a lyricist you have to keep that in mind if you're not really thinking about melody as you write. So I've got verse 2 here, and I've got my syllables, and I'm thinking about the word consistent, and I come up with consistently, you are there for me. Consistently, that's 4, so I stick that in there in the second line where I need 4 syllables, and then you are there for me. I can make that work. That's 5 syllables, unlike the previous one, which is 6 syllables, and we'll see how that turns out later. But then I need something for that first line. When I need you. It's got 4, and the previous one has 5, but I think that it could be okay. So I've got, when I need you, consistently, you are there for me. Then we go into the pre-chorus. Isn't it just like you to give me your all? Okay, so I got down my verse 1, verse 2, pre-chorus, and chorus, and then I need a bridge. What actually happened to me this time is that I started writing my bridge, and actually I started writing verse 2, and I liked it so much, but I didn't like it as a verse. I wanted it to be my bridge, so I cut out what was verse 2 and made it my bridge before I even finished what I just came up with for verse 2, because I felt like this bridge, or what my bridge is now, I wanted to expand upon the idea, and my verses are really short in this song, so I wasn't able to expand on that feeling, so I moved it down to the bridge. And so for my bridge, I've got a couple different words that I was playing with. Steadfast, because I feel like that really goes with the theme of the song, and then steadfast rhymes with hold fast. So I'm going to use those for some key words in my bridge. And then I like the word greater. There's no love greater. I've got that phrase in my mind. There's no love greater. Steadfast, hold fast. Okay, I've got these words floating around. And what rhymes with greater? I go on rhymezone.com, and one of the words that comes up is savior. So that I could definitely use, and I want to use that because it rhymes and it's a perfect word for this song and speaking about God. So I put, oh my Savior, you are steadfast, and I hold fast to you. There's no love greater than the one who's steadfast, and I hold fast to you. So I'm not sure how that's going to go when it comes to placing it with music, but you know, like I've said before, as lyricists, we're not married to what we wrote, because in the whole entire song process, we may need to delete some words, add some words, switch some things around so that it fits, and it's a puzzle. It's a really fun puzzle, and at the end of it, when you have a final piece, it's very fulfilling, and it feels really good to see that, you know, just your little measly idea that you wrote down on a journal turns into something pretty cool. So this is my second song, and I just wanted to share with you kind of how I went through it, and really it's just using your mind, using your brain to just think outside the box, and then pull words that you think go together with that fit in the theme that you're trying to say, and then fitting it into a format. And what I would recommend is just think of a word that really means a lot to you, or think of a time in your life that you had a really good experience, or even a sad experience, and just start writing about it, and try to get those words to rhyme or to flow, to go together, just like a song would, and just start. So I just hope that this helped you today, and I appreciate you coming on this journey with me. Okay, you have a great day, guys.